Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the studio. It is good to see you. Happy Monday. We're going to talk about everything those kids are learning in classes this week. I've got all my notes ready to go. I've got some examples to show you. Kind of excited because this week is a normal week for everybody, right? Like everybody has class. There's no Monday holiday. There's hopefully no snow days. I think it'll be good. I think it'll feel like we can finally start January. It'll be good. It'll be good. All right. For most of you, it is your scheduled week 3. Now, that doesn't mean that you've actually had 3 classes because I've had a lot of missed classes because of weather. Some of you came for makeups to fill in those classes. Some of you couldn't make the makeup time. And so we're going to try to get you caught up in classes. And we'll just kind of see how that goes. So if you're in that boat where you're like, Wednesday makeups don't work for us, Allison, so we're going to see if we can get it done in 3 classes instead of 4. Especially in that multimedia session. So a lot of times we can get you caught up. Like we can speed up the process in class. It doesn't work for every artist, but it works for some. And we'll know by probably this week or next week that it didn't work. But we'll do our very best to get them caught up in class. And if that doesn't work, and let's say we get to next week or this week, my Thursday people are supposed to finish, I think. So like if you get to that day where they're like, it's the last day of January, you should be taking your project home, and they don't take it home because they're not done with it, and you're like, makeups don't work for us. Wednesday makeups here in Liberty, Friday makeups in Flatwoods. Then send me an email, and so we can figure out an alternate time for you to come in. A lot of times for our older kids, it's going to be like during another class. It's going to be during the class right before yours or during the class after yours. And they like for the older kids, they can just sit kind of quietly in the corner of that class and work on that project. For our younger kids, so if you're in like the kindergarten class, that doesn't always work, especially with the size and scale of their projects. So we'll have to figure out something else. We'll figure out a time that like I'm here doing admin stuff, or when we have an office person that isn't very busy and they can bring them into this office and have them work a little bit. But we'll figure it out. We do want to make sure that everybody gets their projects done. If you're in those multimedia classes, you just have to work with us if you have to do that outside of the traditional makeups. Okay. All right. So like I said, most of you are scheduled week 3 years. There are some exceptions. My month started on a Thursday. So actually Thursday is a week ahead. And you're in week 4. So for all of my Thursday students who are multimedia, this is the week that we finish the projects and send them home, because the next week when I do a video, we're going to be talking about February for you guys. Crazy. We're going to start printmaking projects next week in February. Okay. My Monday and Tuesday preschool classes are actually a week behind. Normally the month is not this crazy. So if you're new to the studio, I promise normally it's not this nutty, but Monday and Tuesday preschool kids, you guys are a week behind because we had Martin Luther King Day. So you were off last week. If you're a Monday class in Flatwoods, or if you're a Tuesday class in either space, we took a day off because of weather, and we bumped you to the end of the month because we're able to do that. There were 5 Tuesdays in the month, so we could do it. All right. Anywho, let's talk about those preschool classes. So it is light and dark month in preschool. Believe it or not, we are just now entering some of our week 2 classes for Monday and Tuesdays, our week 3 classes for Thursday, Friday classes. So my Monday, Tuesday people, you guys are reading Freight Train, and you're going to use shape sponges to assemble a train. It's a way of painting something concrete, but in almost like a puzzle assembly or collage sense. So it's super fun to do that. It uses colors, it uses shapes. I love when we can tie in all of that learning into an art project. It also helps us to kind of go over again what a landscape is, and the parts of a landscape, like the sky and the land and the horizon. The fact that the sky touches the land, right? My Thursday, Friday people, you guys are wrapping up your month. This is like your week 3 class, and we only do 3 classes a month for preschool classes. You guys will read Flashlight by Lizzie Boyd, which is one of my favorite books. We do the whole first part in the dark. So if you've been to class this month, you know we've been doing the second part. This artist here in the preschool classroom, when we do the open free like playstations, creative playstations, we've had the room blacked out with the black lights. When you come in for your 3rd class and you're reading Flashlight, the room will be dark when you come in, the big classroom, not the small classroom. So it'll actually already be dark, and we will do our whole first part of our class using flashlights. reminds me, I gotta make sure everybody has batteries. All right, preschool classes next month go into February, and it's our portraiture month, which is a fun one. And every book has something to do with like the face. All right, multimedia classes. I can't bring the big ones in, you guys. So our K first, our second, third, and our K third classes have been doing these giant paintings, poster size paintings. They're 24 by 30. Here's a picture of them adding their second layer. So every time they come in, they add a new layer of paint. Our first one was done with paint cards and scraping. Our second layer was done with kind of big brushes, big chunky brushes. And we learned about what an organic or a geometric shape is, and we added those. And our third week was adding marks, lines, and texture. So we used even smaller brushes, and we were getting a little bit more detailed with that. So this is I think the second layer for these artists. This is a Monday, Tuesday picture in Liberty. Thursday artists, you guys are finishing yours. So you will actually add the final layer to your pictures, which will be black and white. We have so far avoided those colors. It's just been in color. The kids have alternated between warm colors and cool colors every time they've come in. So if you stay on just one side of the color wheel and you just use those colors that are touching each other, the analogous colors, then you don't make brown. The layer underneath is already dry. So when this artist right here is painting a light orangey yellow on top of a bluey green, even though that crosses the color wheel, the blue green was last week's layer, so it's fine because it's all dry. And unlike watercolor paints or gouache, our acrylic paints do not rehydrate when you put a layer on top, or they just covers it. So we'll get the last layer on. Thursday artists will be taking their giant paintings home with them. The tape comes off. We've had them taped to a big sheet of paper, so tape comes off, and we actually will do that prior to their class because that takes a little bit of time. Usually it takes an X-Acto knife for us to actually cut some of the paint off of the tape. So it should have a white border around their poster, and then they'll add their final touches, do their artist statement, and they will take them home. So one of our favorite projects that we do. I love these giant paintings. They do fit in a poster size frame, so you can, if you're interested in framing them, that's the cheapest way to do it. I mean, you can go to a framing department and they'll put a mat on it and like a legit frame. It's very cool. However, if you want an inexpensive way to do it, buy a poster frame off Amazon. 4th and 5th grade classes. Oh, next week or next month, I was going to say in my notes, right? So next month, K through 3rds, you guys are doing printmaking like everybody else in multimedia classes. But Thursday artists, you guys will start your printmaking project next week. And so just to tell you, it is a combination of mono printing and relief printing. It is our Sunset Skyline project we haven't done for a couple of years. The background, that gradient is done on a jelly plate using mono printing techniques. And then our skyline in the front, the kids will carve their own printing plate out of printing foam, and we'll print that skyline in black ink. So that's a type of relief print. Multimedia classes for our 4th and 5th grade, and our homeschool, you guys are doing pet portraits. And I did bring some examples along with me. I'll tell you, back in that closet, I have some artists that look like they're just about done, and I have some artists that all they have is a pencil drawing on their canvas. So we have a huge swing. Some of you guys are going to need some additional time just looking at it. I don't know if it's because you missed classes, which is totally possible, or if you just took a lot longer getting your picture drawn out on your canvas. Also okay, and totally believable. It just depends on the speed in which people work. But we do have some really great pet and animal portraits that are happening. I brought 2 examples here. Hopefully this one has kind of a greenish background, so hopefully it's not washed out too much. A little bit. But I wanted you to see the difference. So this one here is what we call blocking in. It has all of the shapes put in. It has all of the flat colors put in, kind of the basic main hue and value here. This one is in a next step. So it's not like this one's good and this one isn't, or this one's good and this one, not like that. It is, this one here is further along, right? So there goes the background. Our first step was to get the blocking in done. Our second step was to get all of those details and marks and texture. So you can see they've just got another layer of paint in there. So this is the step that a lot of our Monday, Tuesday artists will be doing. So they're still they have this part done and they have to get this step done. So they'll start getting in the lights and darks inside of those areas, so that's not just a flat color, and they'll start getting in all of the great texture that has to happen. Acrylic paint is fabulous with texture. They will take their 3rd and 4th week to finish that up. Okay. Sound good? So that's what we're doing right now. Hopefully a lot of our Thursday people can finish. If not, like I said, if you're in a Thursday class and your kids don't come home with a project, sign up for makeup time or additional studio time. Even if you did miss, sign up for additional studio time. I'm going to get that done. And again, if that time doesn't work, if you're in Liberty, it's Wednesday nights. If you're in Flatwoods, it's Friday nights. If that time doesn't work, you got to reach out to me and let me know so that we can coordinate some additional time outside of that. Okay. All right. I know you may want to like talk to your instructor, but they've got a lot going on and they don't have the big picture. They know what they work and they know their schedule and they know their classes, but they don't know the whole. So when your student comes in, they may not be with their teacher. They may be with somebody else, but we all know all the curriculums. No deal. All right, 6th, 7th, and 8th, 12th. You guys are doing disco balls, and I tried to find a picture, and for some reason I just couldn't find any. So that's okay. I brought actual ones. So I got actual disco balls to show you. I tried to grab ones that don't have a lot of green in them. Look how good they look, you guys. I love how dimensional they are. This is a flat piece of cardboard, you guys. And look how like it looks like a round little disco ball. They did so good on their grid drawing. And so they're working on filling in all of their colors. I wanted to show you the difference between like this one here. And hopefully this works because this has green on it. Nope. Nuts. All right, well, and this one here, because this one has lights and darks and it's not just one color per tile. So once they get it covered, then they can start adding in additional like colors into each tile so that it's not just a flat color, that there's something else going on in there, whether it's like 1/2 is light and 1/2 is dark, or 1/2 is yellow and when it switches to a little bit of a green on the other side. That's what their next step is. Just like the pet portraits where we get a first coat down, kind of just get it established, and then we're going to go in and add in some more interesting details. They will also go in and add in like the lines. So the lines that you're seeing here are actually drawn in Sharpie. So they'll take their brushes and start painting in some other lines. Oh, and the final step on these is glitter. They'll add glitter to theirs. And then we've got a sawtooth hanger so that it can actually hang on the wall. Those are looking really good. Again, if they need more time, we'll give them more time. For a lot of the middle school, high schoolers, the easiest way to give them more time is to just say, like, come in early. You can sit in the back of the class before yours and work on your little painting. All right, creative explorations. I did manage to find some really great pictures this week. The teachers, just so you know, the teachers take pictures and they send them to me daily. Like every day, I'm just getting 20 to 50 pictures from all the teachers. And so I get them edited and get them up as fast as I can. And sometimes they get lost in my phone. So I did locate some of our creative exploration pictures. This is out from Flatwoods. I talked to the staff during our meeting on Friday and asked, like, what's the favorite station? Because I'm always really interested to know. If you remember last week, I had pictures of their shadow tracing that they were doing in Liberty and in Flatwoods. The favorite station is the acrylic paints. So there's always a station where our creative exploration students can explore the media, same medium that our multimedia students are doing, but in an open-ended way. So there's not a disco ball for them to paint. It's not a pet portrait for them to paint. It's not a, they could paint a disco ball. They could paint a pet portrait, but there isn't like a lesson or a step-by-step for them to follow. It's just open-ended. So they've been really enjoying exploring the painting. I love this. This artist, I'm terrible at this. This artist right here, she made a heart stencil. If you can see it down there on the table, made her own little stencil and stenciled a heart on her kind of gradient background there, which is great. So I should look at my notes. Creative exploration, peoples. All right. So this is our last week of classes for creative exploration. So if you are in those classes, it's a 3-time-a-month class, not a 4-time-a-month. So this week is your last week because it's week 3. Next Friday My Liberty people, you actually start your Friday curriculums. But my Wednesday people in Flatwoods, you guys have a week off. So you will not meet next week. You meet this week to finish up your month, but you will not meet next week. That is the 31st. So it's still January. So that's your off day. And then you'll be back in for February the following week. Drawing 101. I didn't bring any examples from Drawing 101. I should have, but I didn't. Okay, Drawing 101. They spent, depending on if you're in a Monday, Tuesday, or a Thursday Drawing 101 class, Monday and Tuesday Drawing 101s last week worked on a still life. And so they had, remember, all that winter gear, the hats and the gloves and the mittens and the snow boots and stuff kind of in a pile, for lack of a better word. We did put some thought into it. It is assembled in the round. And then they sit and they draw what they see. So it's an exercise for your eyeball. If you remember last week, I had a picture from one of the Thursday classes where they had a viewfinder cut out, or they were doing this with their hands and they were doing a viewfinder, and that helps us put blinders on and just see a part of it instead of seeing everything and being overwhelmed. So it's a great thing to practice. It works different muscles than when we draw from photograph or when we draw from our imagination, is drawing from still life. So this is the team out in Flatwoods drawing still lifes. This week, Monday and Tuesday artists will be doing the chalk pastel landscapes from photographic references. So we've got some beautiful winter landscapes. If you've watched my videos, you've heard me talk about it for 3 weeks because we've already done this lesson in Drawing 102 Advanced Realistic. And then the Thursday people did it last week. But they are really beautiful landscapes, and they're taken at either dawn or dusk. And so there's a lot of color going on, even though it's a winter snowy landscape. Lots of pinks, lots of blues, lots of teals, lots of purples, because those are the shadows that we see reflected in the snow. So it's a great lesson for chalk pastels because it's a lot of soft colors. So they'll do that if you're Monday, Tuesday. That's what you're going to be doing this week. If you are a Thursday artist, I was going to show you something. I have to get behind my green screen because that's where my shelves are. I have a Wizard of Oz moment here. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. No sec. Let me fix my green screen now. There. All good. Okay. Here's what I wanted to show you. So I bought a new toy for us to play with. The 101s on Thursday get to be the first ones to use it. And they are glass pens. I have a glass pen that I use for fun, and I keep it here at the studio. And I got it out during ink month and let some of the, I don't know what class I subbed for, 4th and 5th maybe, let them play with it. And they had so much fun with it that I was like, we're going to need a set of glass pens. So now we have glass pens in the studio. And they are exactly what they sound like. They are let me get one that isn't green. They are a bunch of pens, like shapes, and they are made out of glass. That's a terrible example. Hang on, let me get one that's a little bit easier to see. Can you see this one better? So they have all this like ribbing like throughout it. So when you dip it into the ink, it holds into the ink here. And we're gonna let our Drawing 101s test them out this month. This week is our lesson where we draw from imagination. So Drawing 101s will draw snowflakes from imagination, which is a great illustrative exercise. It works with patterns, it works with illustration, it works with symmetry, it works with balance, it works with positive and negative space. Lots of great things happening when we're designing snowflakes. And we're going to do it using the glass pens. So we'll use either an acrylic ink, which is not washable, or a watered down acrylic, also not washable. So be ready. And they will dip that into the ink and then do their drawing that way. It produces a beautiful like mono weight line, which I think is really nice. I'm excited for that lesson. We might get out, actually, I want to test it out today because we have gold and silver liquid watercolors that I also think might work with that. I don't know. Like they have to have a certain viscosity in order to hold on to the pen. But if it'll work, that would be so amazing. They're going to do it on black paper or like dark blue paper so that all those beautiful lines show up. I'm super excited about it. And if for some reason the kids find these frustrating because you do have to dip a lot. So it's different than if I just grab a marker and I can just draw. This one's like a paintbrush. You have to dip it in the ink. When it runs out of ink, you got to dip it in the ink again. And for some of our kids, they just push harder. So more does not come out. So if they find this frustrating, we do have white gel pens and other like opaque jelly roll pens that they can use on the dark paper. So that's our backup. Or if we have some that can't handle the breakableness of the glass pens, we will also hand them jelly roll pens. It's fine. Thursday, artists get to do that. Monday, Tuesday, you guys will do it next week. So super exciting. All right. Let's switch screens here. Drawing 102. I got to move over, Leanne. Drawing 102. These guys, man, they're my heroes. They drew their winter gear still life in graphite last week. Last week. And so if you remember, it had all these great colors and all these great textures in the still life, in the collection of hats and gloves and mittens and boots and things. But it was all kind of just in a pile. And then they had to draw it. And my 101s got to use oil pastels, which allows them color. These guys worked in just pencil, just graphite. And so they had to represent the difference between the objects without using hue. And that's very, very challenging. So they had to really pay attention to their value scale. Otherwise, things get lost. They had to really pay attention to their mark making. So that way they could note whether something is fuzzy or something is smooth or something is shiny or something is like soft, something is furry. You use different marks to represent those. And so they did a fantastic job. This is an exercise in your brain doing that. So 102 Advanced Realistics meet on Mondays in Flatwoods and Tuesdays in Liberty. So they don't have any, there are no Thursday 102 Advanced Realistics. So they're all in week 3 this week. And their lesson this week is the glass pens as well. So they get to use that. What are they doing in week 3? Because they did their draw from photograph in week 1. That was the winter landscapes. They did their draw from still life in week 2, which is the snow gear. And then this is draw from imagination. And so they'll use the same glass pens and stuff that we talked about with the 101s. But I should tell you about it because maybe you're only watching this timestamp. So if you missed it, these are the glass pens that we're going to use to illustrate our snowflakes. And they hold on to the ink and they draw a mono weight line. They're beautiful. So we're going to do that on dark paper using either acrylic ink, watered down acrylic, or possibly the metallic liquid watercolors. We'll see what holds on to it best. If they don't love the glass pens, then we will switch to either jelly roll pens or gel pens that also work on the blue paper. Drawing 102 comic and cartoon. I don't have pictures, but I do have drawing. So we've got Monday, Tuesday classes, and then we have Thursday classes. So because of that, Thursday's a week ahead. We got to talk about all that stuff. My Monday and Tuesday people, they did their stippling, cross-hatching, and scrumbling value scales, right, from light to dark, and learned how to apply those. And not only how to apply those, but how to do it well, where to apply it. So that was their lesson for Mondays and Tuesdays. My Thursday people, they did a lesson in color. And they looked at lots of different coloring options that they had. They had colored pencils, they had alcohol ink markers, they had alcohol inks, or not alcohol inks, acrylic inks that they could play with. They had regular like washable markers, which are a water-based marker. And they worked with those things and talked about blending. Hard to see this because we've got green screen going on, but they worked on, how to blend between the two. They worked on like proper coloring. So you can see like if you go all one direction and then what happens if you overlap the alcohol ink markers, right? Your stroke really shows. It also matters on whether or not you like make your mark and then let it dry and then make your mark, or if you make your mark and then make the next one while it's still wet. Kind of like watercolor paints where you can actually get a hard edge that's dried. So they did a lot of like technical talking about applying color. So that was a great exercise for them. They really, like Miss Grace said, they really enjoyed it. The Monday, Tuesday kids will be doing this lesson this week. If you're in Monday, Tuesday class, you do your color lesson this week. If you're in a Thursday class, it's your 4th week. And the 4th week of Drawing 102 is always wild card week. And that is the week that we go back through the lessons that we've had and we spend more time on a drawing that we wanted to finish, right? So if you're in 102 Advanced Realistic and you really loved your chalk pastel winter landscape, but 90 minutes isn't enough time to finish that drawing, you could spend time finishing that drawing. If you were in Drawing 102 Comic and Cartoon and you started a line weight exercise drawing and you wanted to actually finish that drawing, you could do that. If you wanted to restart a drawing and redo it, you could do that. It's also a time for us to go back and do previous lessons. So if you were in last semester, you can go back and finish the drawing in your book from previous semesters, because we didn't get a wild card week in December and November because of all the fun holiday stuff that we did. So they can go back and do those. We also, in this semester, for comic classes, that's weird, but we'll go with it. For comic classes, this is the semester where we start our actual comic. So there's a comic book that Miss Grace puts together using a saddle stapler and big sheets of paper, and she's got blank comic pages that they can assemble based on the layout that they want and actually tell a story and finish a book. So that's the other thing they can do during wild card week. We also allow them, if they're working on something outside of class, so if they're like drawing something, I don't know, like my daughter's a big drawer and she always has something she's working on as a project. And so if they wanted to work on that during wild card week and then be able to get feedback from an instructor or from their classmates, they can do that during wild card week. So it is not a free-for-all. It is not a party. It is not like, let's just talk and not actually draw. That's not what it is. They have to come in and figure out a plan on what they're gonna what are they gonna work on, what are their goals to accomplish, and then work on that during class. So we still expect 45 minutes, 75 minutes worth of actual drawing that happens in the wild card weeks. What we usually tell the kids is, as long as that is happening, then we'll continue to have them. If not, we'll plan a lesson. But so far, it's been very positive in how it's been received. So Thursday, kids, in Drawing 102 Comic, you have your wild card week this week. Monday, Tuesday, people, you'll have it next week. 103s. You guys want to see what these 103s are up to? So my 103 classes are a product-based class. So whereas everybody in 102s is all lesson-based, and every class is a different lesson, my 103s is a challenge at the beginning of the month, and their goal by the end of the month is to have a finished drawing. So they are all the 102 classes are in, or 103 classes, I'm sorry, are in week 2. Because they're a Monday, Tuesday class. So my comic class is doing a panel drawing. We did panel drawings for the first time in December with this group. So they have to have 3 panels, 3 different scenes or characters that represent an emotion or an action, and then we'll have typography in it. So there will be a word that goes with each of these illustrated boxes. That's 1. And this is their finals. So this is drafted someplace else in their book. And then these are their final drawings. So you can see they're getting their pencil drawings done. This week will be the week that they ink. And then hopefully next week will be their finishing. I know Miss Grace was really pleased that they started getting real creative with their panel compositions and their shapes. So it isn't just let me divide it into 3 equal boxes, that they've got some different kind of compositions. Super fun. Also, Drawing 102 or Drawing 103. This is about the time in the video when my brain, none of the numbers start messing up. They are drawing light bulbs, and they're doing it on black paper using white charcoal. So it's a different way of drawing, because instead of using your pencil to put in the darks, you're using your pencil to put in the lights. There's some really great compositions here. They They created their own composition using actual physical light bulbs and then took a picture of those light bulbs. And then they're working from picture. I think this one goes this way. Look at that one. This one right here looks totally round. So cool. And then this one goes this way. So lots of good stuff happening there. You can see like here's a value scale that they were kind of playing around with the, I don't know which artist had that in the cubby, but I thought I'd show it to you. So they have 2 more classes to finish up drawing their still life. So that's another 3 hours worth of drawing time. So they should be able to finish those. I did get them black mats. Usually we mat our 103 drawings when we're done, and that's usually a white mat, but since they're working on black paper, I did buy some black ones. So that should be fun to finish up their January drawing. Couple housekeeping things, and then I will let you go. The first is, and I've lost my notes, so hang on. Well, we're just gonna maybe, oh, there it is. Like we're just gonna have to do it from memory. So if you missed a class, there are makeups available. They are on the website. You also should get an email. We try to send emails if you miss classes. It says like, we missed you. Check your spam if you're not seeing those. Just so you know, we send that email if you are marked absent in class. So it's like if you come in late, the instructor might have already taken attendance and then forgotten to go back and put you as present. So I apologize if that happens. We try to do that. Sometimes the class is just moving forward and we just didn't get it done. So if you get a makeup email and you're like, she was totally there, you can respond to me and I'll fix our attendance records, or you can just ignore it. It's either way. Okay. But you'll get a "we missed you" email, and then you can make a reservation right using that link. Or you can just go to the website and scroll down to the bottom footer, and there's a link for makeups in the footer of every single website. Like every Orange Easel webpage has it, a footer for it. It's also in your registration emails. So that's another, and you can even like, or you can go to the website and just type in makeups in the search bar and it should show up there too. So that's how the makeups work. There's really not a huge time limit on makeups. You don't have to make them up within a week or anything like that. Drawing people, especially because the lessons don't really build on each other. You can come in next month and make up January's. It's fine. If it's a still life, like the winter gear, will go back to my house because it's all my stuff here in Liberty. All the kitchen utensils were my stuff. Like those will go back to my house here at the end of the month. But we'll find something for you to draw on a still life. It's not a problem. We'll just have to kind of be flexible with it. That said, with no time limit, if you still haven't finished October's clay project, get in here and get it done if you plan on doing it. Because we did start cleaning through the closet and Grace was like, you think we're good to get rid of October's clay? And it's like, give it a couple more weeks. So you know, we can't hold things forever. If your kids are in classes, we'll try to we won't just throw them away. We'll give them to you. We'll be like, take this home, bring it back if you'd like to finish it. So, but I mean, you wouldn't be getting this video if you're not enrolled in classes, but if ever you're not enrolled in classes and you leave a project here, just know we probably keep it about 6 months. And then it gets recycled. All right. Other housekeeping stuff. Oh, other things with makeups. So before I move on, if you're in a multimedia class and you don't get your makeup done before the next class period, you may not need a makeup because we will try to catch you up. So that's a good note. And then if you need just additional class time, you can also use that makeup class time. So if you're just like, we just need to work on this drawing a little bit longer, you can make a reservation just to come in for additional class time. It's fine. That one's too long. Valentine's Day special events. Those are up on the website under special events. Sign up, join us. It'll be fun. And then just a reminder that summer stuff is up. It's just to look at. Registration is not open. If you click through it, it'll be like wait list, wait list, wait list. It's not full. It's just not open. It's just, that's the only other way for me to show it to you and not have registrations happening. So you can join the wait list and you'll get an alert when the registration actually opens. You can also, there's a spot on the website to like sign up for an email reminder when registration opens. Trying to think what else. Studio Club members, you guys register first. If you're in the Spring Studio Club, your registration will open March 1st. If you're not in Spring Studio Club, then your registration opens March 15th. Be here before we know it, right? Oh, apparently that's my last slide. I guess I didn't put the see you next week slide in. Oh, well, no worries. You know what it is, right? It says, see you this way. See you next week. That's what it usually says. So have a wonderful, it's the Monday. I hope everybody has a wonderful week this week and enjoys a little bit warmer weather. I will see you in the studio.